All right, guys. So a ton of news, in the transfer portal. And Blake Shapen, quarterback from Shreveport, Louisiana, who's played at Baylor a long time, he ends up committing to Mississippi State with Jeff Lebby. Now, at first thought, I think of Shapen, and this is just my honest opinion of Blake. Very good kid, competitive kid. I think he's had parents that have played, professional and high school sports or college sports. And, Blake Shapen is a quarterback that at Baylor, when he had a good defense around him, he was effective. But really, Baylor's offense was a problem. Jeff Grimes, the offensive coordinator, got fired. Believe that they only won 4 games. They got blown out in so many spots. And Blake Shapen was there and was a quarterback there. And Dave Aranda was squarely on the hot seat. And Baylor, moved on from Blake Shapen. They did. Blake Shapen is 5'11". Now, he is an accurate quarterback. He will take some chances, and he does have touch. So looking at some of the highlights of Shapen, there are some things that could sell you on this move. All right, if you're Mississippi State. There's pros and cons to this move. All right, we'll discuss the pros first. He has a ton of experience. So he could be a depth piece for your quarterback room. You could have a younger quarterback that's in there, but he's a safe depth piece. And as a first-year coach in Jeff Lebby that's 39 years old and that's playing in the SEC, you want an experienced adult that has played a ton of football to be in your quarterback room. So Blake Shapen is a depth piece. He has won big games. Blake Shapen beat Oklahoma State. Team that he started on at Baylor beat Oklahoma State with Dave Aranda and won a Big 12 championship. He also won the quarterback competition job early on in camp. He beat Gary Bohannon for that job. So intangibly, I think Blake Shapen, by all accounts, has a high football IQ, has a high IQ. The Jeff Grimes offense was one that worked with Zach Wilson. It's not the easiest system to memorize. I think that Lebby's system will allow him to play faster, will have less stretch zone plays. I think that Lebby can hopefully get some wide receiver talent at Mississippi State. And it's going to be more throw happy and it's going to be more throw aggressive than Baylor, which wanted to be run the football first. But at times, Baylor's offense with stretch run got very predictable. And Jeff Grimes wants to be physical on the line of scrimmages. And he doesn't want to throw first. And Blake Shapen, at this age of 22 years old, he's ready to go to an offense and throw first. So I think it is a little bit exciting to see. Are we going to see a different version of Blake Shapen at Mississippi State? Blake Shapen, in ways, he's not Dillon Gabriel. His release isn't as quick as Dillon Gabriel. His arm strength is not to the level of Dillon Gabriel, nor is his accuracy, but Blake Shapen does have some mobility, and Dillon Gabriel, the one downside to Dillon is maybe that upper tier arm strength. Sometimes the ball will die on Dillon Gabriel, the deep ball, at times, a little bit. It's nitpicking with Dillon Gabriel. All right, so for his college career, so this year as a starter, right, he's 10-13 as a starter. He doesn't have the biggest arm in the world. Touchdown to interception ratio, again, these numbers don't explode at all. I mean, he only threw for 2,000 yards as a starter at Baylor. So by all accounts, he wasn't even that effective in the Big 12 conference. I think that even Blake would admit that it was a disappointing season for the offense and for Baylor. I think he would say that. All right. So for Jeff Lebby, I expected him to go after a big-armed quarterback. I'm not saying Cam Ward, but somebody who's mobile, someone like Jackson Dart, kind of has that next level, height, arm talent, right? Somebody who's 6'2", very dynamic. I think maybe Mississippi State might go take a chance on a quarterback like that has, dynamic talent. In fact, Chris Parson is on the roster that I really liked out of Nashville, Tennessee. I think he's still at Mississippi State. He's about the same size as Shapen, but he has more dual threat ability. So I think that maybe Mississippi State is looking at, we have Blake Shapen. He's going to be a safe quarterback to start out with, but we're also going to recruit a lot of talented young guys that might be a little bit green, that might not, have a ton of experience, and we're going to develop them, and eventually they'll take over, maybe if they, happen to do very well in practice and show trust with the coaching staff and learning the system. So I think that that's where we're at with Mississippi State. Again, it shows you that Dylan Gabriel's going to Oregon, that Mississippi State is a team that is rebuilding from the identity of Mike Leach, rebuilding from Will Arnett and a defensive style, coach. And it's going to be a little bit of a transition in the SEC as you're playing one of the toughest schedules in all of college football, and how your roster is maybe not built for this air raid Jeff Lebby style system. It's going to take some time to really maybe get to like 8 or 9 wins. However, Blake Shapen, again, as a veteran, it's somebody that Lebby and the coaching staff somehow is familiar with. They reached out to him in this process. And you're getting a guy that is a professional. I just think, honestly, that the upside is limited. It's not somebody that I just don't know the upside of Shapen, okay? I just don't. And in a Lebby offense, a lot of quarterbacks can make that offense explode. And I saw just like limited arm strength, at times poor decision-making, and that offense really fizzled out at Baylor, and that's my last exposure to Blake Shapen. I even thought Gary Bohannon would have been a better option for Baylor to keep at quarterback. I just think that Shapen, can be accurate, but the upside can be a question mark. However, maybe in this context, you're getting an experienced quarterback that is now going into a more QB-centric system, somebody that is accurate, somebody that's a tremendous competitor and has all of the intangibles. Maybe you can get the most out of Shapen, and again, it's like a one-year situation as you allow these talented young players to go and grow underneath Shapen, and you kind of can get some stability for your first coaching job in the SEC. I kind of understand where Lebby is thinking here. All right, State fans, let me know what you guys are thinking, even fans of college football, about this move. Blake Shapen going to Mississippi State.